Chair, I want to move a motion now, and I'll explain after I've moved it, that the committee report to the House that it calls on the government to prohibit any government employee from simultaneously working as an external contractor. Sorry, I want to speak to it as well.
Okay, pardon me, Ms. Shannon. I'm going to go back to Mr. Generous. Mr. Generous is correct. He did not relinquish the floor. Mr. Generous, the
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Khalid.
I believe Ms. Shanahan's hand was up. The motion is still being distributed to members, and I would appreciate hearing from Ms. Shanahan before we...
As would I.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
To put a fine point on it, do you know how much was spent? I mean, are you able to answer the questions?
Listen, the Auditor General went through the files.
Right.
She did an audit, and she found, that she wasn't able to trace all the financial records. So, no, I don't, obviously, or else I would have given it to her.
Hence the problem. Chair, I want to move a motion now, and I'll explain after I've moved it, that the committee report to the House that it calls on the government to prohibit any government employee from simultaneously working as an external contractor. That is a matter at hand motion. I've sent an embargoed copy to the clerk who can distribute it.
Thank you. Just 1 second, please.
What's an embargoed copy?
Members have received that motion, and I certainly welcome all members to send motions to the clerk before they are tabled, just to move things along. You're not, of course, required to do so, but it does prevent. And again, you do so, the clerk will process it. And in this case, as in others embargoed, I won't know about it, particularly when I'm doing my job up here, but it does help move things along. So we have a motion on the floor. I see Ms. Shanahan, your hand is up.
Sorry, I want to speak to it as well.
Okay, pardon me, Ms. Shanahan. I'm going to go back to Mr. Generous. Ms. Shanahan, I'll come to you in a moment, Ms. Shanahan. Mr. Generous is correct. He did not relinquish the floor. Mr. Generous,
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Khalid.
I believe Ms. Shanahan's hand was up. The motion is still being distributed to members, and I would appreciate hearing from Ms. Shanahan before we...
As would I, and as I corrected myself, Mr. Generous was clear. He was not relinquishing the floor. He just was signaling to make sure members had the motion so they could review it as he was talking to it. So, Mr. Generous, you have the floor, after which I'll go to happily go to Ms. Shanahan. Over to you, Mr. Generous.
Thank you, Chair. The motion that I have moved deals with the situation that we have recently heard about in the Arrive scam scandal, which is that one of the contractors was given $7.9 million as part of the ArriveCAN process, and for what work we still don't have clarity on. But the Arrive scam scandal led to this contractor, Dalian, receiving $7.9 million at the same time as this person was an employee of the Department of Veterans Affairs. The Department of Veterans Affairs, by the way, also gave money to this company. So you have an employee of the government whose own department, as well as other departments, is giving money to his contract. Now this is absurd. As I said earlier, the reason we see any contracting out is based on the idea that the government doesn't have the internal expertise to perform a particular task. So why would the government, contracting out on the basis that they don't have the internal expertise to do something, contract out to someone who is also a government employee? It makes no sense. It allows individuals to double dip. This shouldn't happen. I had asked our witness today directly, are there rules that clearly prohibit this practice? He answered to the committee that there are not rules that clearly prohibit this practice, that there could be an evaluation around a conflict of interest, but that in his words, it is not disallowed. I think it should be disallowed that you have somebody making money both as a government employee and as an external contractor when they're being externally contracted on the basis of the alleged lack of internal expertise of government. So I would hope that this motion would have the agreement of the committee, and I think it's important in light of the evidence we've heard to send a clear message to the government that this policy, that this type of practice should no longer be allowed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Generous. Ms. Shanahan, you have the floor.
I move to now adjourn.
We have a movement to adjourn. Clerk, please call the vote or call the roll call.
Shall the committee adjourn? Ms. Bradford,
In favor?
Ms. Vandenbeld,
Favor.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan,
Yes.
Mr. Alcori,
Yes.
Mr. Genuis.
No, absolutely not. We're in the middle of debate on this important motion.
Ms. Block.
No.
Madame Sinclair Desgagnés.
No.
Sorry, my apologies.
Madame
Ms.
Cusi.
Cusi.
Against.
Madame Sinclair Desgagnés.
No.
Ms. McPherson.
No.
5 yeas. 5 nays.
Debate will continue. I'm seeing no speakers. Clerk, please call the vote.
Shall the motion of Mr. Genuis carry? Ms. Bradford,
No.
Ms. Vandenbeld,
No.
Ms. Kelly,
No.
Ms. Shanahan,
No.
Mr. Alcori,
No.
Mr. Genuis,
Yes.
Ms. Block,
Yes.
Ms. Cusi,
In favor.
Madame Sinclair Desgagnés,
Oui.
Ms. McPherson.
Yes.
5 yeas, 5 nays.
I'll break the tie. I vote to proceed with the motion. Vote in favor.
Point of order, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mrs. Khalid.
I'm just, or maybe clarification, I'm just checking to see how much time we have in the room. I have obviously other obligations in my constituency office. I would love to meet my constituents who've been waiting for me
Sure.
for a while. So just wanting to know how long we're going to spend on this motion.
It's just passed, so the motion is done. Mr. Genuis has about 40 seconds remaining.
Sorry, this meeting, I mean.
Mr. Genuis has 40 seconds remaining, and then we have Ms. Bradford, and then we will be done. Ms. Genuis?
Although I would welcome the extra time, I do believe the rules involve that if I move a motion, I'm done with my slot.
No, I've consulted with the
Oh,
clerk
have you?
on this. You're welcome to to end.
Mr. Houpe, has your minister asked any questions, asked for any briefings or information? Have you provided any advice regarding this practice of double dipping, of people working as contractors and as employees at the same time?
So the minister asked me, as I said earlier, questions about the findings of the Auditor General. I have yet personally to speak to her about that practice, to be fair.
Okay, she's clearly seen it in the news, I hope, so you haven't heard from the minister or been asked for any further information on this particular issue?
Not specifically, no.
And that is your time, Mr. Genuis. Ms. Bradford, you have the floor.
My concern is with producing a list of people without any context, and I would like to hear Mr. Houpe and the Auditor General on what they think of this motion. Thank you.
Honestly, I don't have any comments on the motion. This is outside my pay grade here, so I'm going to leave the system take care of itself from that perspective.
Auditor General?
Again, I'm not going to tell the committee how to carry out its business. What I can tell you is that there are rules that already exist around public servants needing to disclose whether they have other employment income sources. And that disclosure is meant to ensure that there isn't a conflict of interest with the duties of a public servant and other duties that they may have. I would argue that it's a situation where the rules need to be enforced. And so it starts with awareness, making sure all public servants are aware that the rules exist, that the disclosure happens, that the dialogue happens between a supervisor and an individual. And then finally, that once a decision is made, whether other employment is allowed or not, it's well documented so that there are no situations of ambiguity, that it is very clear that a public servant should not do something that would impede their ability to be objective and fair as they carry out their responsibilities.
Chair, you did say that this would be the last slot, but I'm afraid I have to move on as well, and so I move that we do now adjourn.
Well, you are done, so do you want me to take a vote, or do you want me to excuse the witnesses? You have moved
Well,
it, so you've moved it, so go ahead, clerk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Shall the committee adjourn? Ms. Bradford.
Yes.
Ms. Vandenbeld.
Yes.
Ms. Khalid. Ms. Khalid.
Apologies, I'm deciding whether I want to continue on this very important topic. Yes.
Ms. Shanahan.
Yes.
Mr. El-Khoury.
Yes.
Mr. Genua.
No.
Ms. Block.
No.
Ms. Kuzi.
Against.
Madame Saint-Cloud de Gagné.
Oui.
Ms. McPherson.
Yes.
7 yeas, 3 nays.
Can I thank the witnesses, or just adjourn?
Your turn is supposed to adjourn.
I am instructed to adjourn. Thank you for coming.
See you tomorrow, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.